Run of SaaS. I'm Brian.
And I'm Benedikt. Each week we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we work on our products and keep the lights on by becoming construction workers. Today is April 6th and I'm feeling settled in.
This is episode number 36 and I'm feeling centered.
Very nice.
Very nice. Couple. What's got you feeling settled in? Like settled into your new place? Just settled in the new flow? Like
settled into the new setup with the home office and just like settled into the groove of staying at home while my girlfriend is off to work in the lab.
What does she do?
She's a medical lab technician, so she's running tests on blood samples and stuff like that.
Oh wow, that's really amazing. I mean, is she in like the thick of it? Like,
you'd think so, but surprisingly, she has way less work than usual because like all the regular routine stuff isn't happening anymore.
Okay.
So they're actually bored, more or less.
So what sort of samples is she running tests on? COVID-19 samples, and there just aren't that many of them there yet? Or
they started doing that as well, yeah. Not she personally, but the lab she's working in is doing those tests as well now, yeah.
Wow.
But so far that part isn't picking up apparently, and like all the other stuff, like the regular stuff you do when you get to your doctor, that's not happening anymore. So
right.
It's like 30% of what they used to do. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
but it's work she cannot do at home. So
she's got to go. Yeah, it has to go in. How is your home office working out? Did you make any big changes this week or anything to really get in the flow?
No, I think the setup is mostly fine.
Yeah.
I'm having some troubles with my Wi-Fi because like in my regular office downtown, everything's connected by wires. So things work. And earlier today, I had my connection dropping a couple times during the call. So fingers crossed this doesn't happen while we record.
Gotcha.
But yeah, wires are a cool thing.
Okay. How loud is that dump truck driving by right now? Loud to quite loud?
I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't? Okay, that's good to know. So speaking of home offices, I'm on my front porch right now. And because I built a desk out on my front porch out of just like random. Can you hear that garbage truck now?
Yeah, now I can hear it. When you're speaking, there's a little bit of background noise.
All right.
It's okay.
No, it's just like, it's a really good test for me to know how self-conscious about cars and things I need to be. But that was a huge thing for me last week, except for Thursday and Friday when it was like nearly, in the freezing temperatures. But just being outside, fresh air, sunlight, like that was a big boost for me last week. So I'm feeling nice and settled in the new normal with 3 kids home doing online school, and it's been it was a good week. I mean, all things considered.
I think I mentioned it a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, but like I'm so glad the weather is getting better, and the sun is out, the sky is blue, temperatures are rising as well, so it's so much nicer overall. And it helps me to stay sane, I guess.
Yeah. We were talking to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law last night on a Zoom call, hanging out with our family on Zoom. And we were all saying kind of a similar thing, like, so glad that this had begun like in mid-December, knowing that there's a, couple of months ahead. And with it being in the middle of the winter, that would have been rough. So I'm feeling grateful for trying to find something to be grateful for every single day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And there's a lot.
Yeah. We did a fun thing on Saturday. Like we were supposed to visit my parents, together with my sister and her husband. And of course, like that didn't happen because moving 3 households into one is not a smart idea these days. So we basically set up a scheduled call on Skype and had dinner together. Each of us prepared more or less the same meal at the same time. We had
nice.
we had the Skype session up and running while
That's
cooking,
fun.
and then had the dinner together. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're trying to we have some friends, and we were going to try to like set up, board game, like play a board game, because they have the same game that we have. And like, is there any way that we can rig up multiple cameras so that everybody can see each other's board? So we're going to try to see if we can figure that out. My D&D group, we have gone, our game has gone online, and that's going pretty good. Better than it's obviously not the same as being in the same room, and the conversation, like the back and forth, is a lot better, but like it's working at least. We can keep playing, but yeah, because people are just figuring it out.
Yeah. I have a feeling that we should probably do this more, like not just like for recording the podcast or like for business type of stuff, like just like having more video calls with family and friends. And totally. Because like I think I'm at home for the 4th week now, and I'm starting to feel like, it would be nice to actually see some other people from time to time.
Yes. It sets in after a little while of not seeing people, spending most of your time alone at a computer, like have video calls with people and have conversations. Totally. Our church has figured out a way to also have, we had church online on Sunday, and it was again not the same, but like you see all these familiar faces, and it just like reminds you, okay, we're part of a community. This is weird. This sucks, but we're going to get through this. So yeah, it's a good idea to set up normal calls with your friends on. So funny.
It's kind of weird because like at least a couple of them aren't living that far away. Like,
exactly.
It feels kind of weird.
Exactly.
But then again, I mean, there's no other way to see each other.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else to do. Hey, what about how's Userlist been last week or two?
Overall things are good. We had, I think, one of our best months in terms of revenue.
All right.
Our churn is way down. Like it's actually funny. We have net negative churn right now, so we're growing faster than people are churning out.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. I don't think it will stay that way forever. So I'm enjoying those 2 or 3 weeks.
Congrats,
but like gut feeling wise, last week I'd have said that trials didn't really change, but like running the numbers earlier today, I noticed that trials are indeed quite a bit down.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like that the numbers were great before, but they're back to the levels from like 3 or 4 months ago. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see how this plays out in the long run. But then again, I mean, thinking back at March, like what did we get done in March?
Right. Yeah.
I don't suspect anyone has the time and energy to figure out a new onboarding email solution or something like that. Yeah. So I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure trials are going to be down across unless you're like Zoom, or I haven't seen, because I've missed if Ben Ornstein and those guys have posted anything, but I would imagine Tuple might be experiencing a pretty healthy boost right now.
Yeah. From what I've heard on the recent podcast episode and on Twitter, they've got a lot of new interest.
Yeah. Yep. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Well, so what
else?
With you? Well, no, what else has happened anything else good on the Userlist side of things?
A couple users started using the in-app messaging feature.
All right.
One of them is actually relatively big, like they have a lot of customers. So at any time, we have about 100 users connected to the WebSocket server. So, we're doing some load testing, I guess.
Yes, it's a nice little,
even if it's a small scale.
Yeah, small little test bed there. That's perfect.
Yeah. I'm already thinking about ways to improve it, but then again, probably not the right time to throw everything overboard already and implement a new solution. But I mean, thoughts are flowing, ideas are growing and stuff like that. So we'd have to see.
Okay. How did those customers get onboarded to it, and what was that? What was that rollout like for those?
We sent out an announcement email to our existing customers 2 or 3 weeks ago, basically telling them, hey, this feature is available. If you want to use it, let us know. And we had like 10 people or so reach out to us. And to those, I basically wrote up a short guide on how to integrate. And depending on their setup, I sent them like some instructions. And the bigger customers on a Rails setup, so that's the most polished onboarding for now. So for them, it's basically just set a new environment variable and update the gem version and add a line to their layout file or something like that. And that's it.
And away you go. Yeah.
And I'm basically now communicating with those people interested and trying to see if we can get them set up over time. And figure out like what are the hurdles they have to overcome and where can we improve things and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats. That's good. That's good, man.
Yeah. In not so nice news, we again had some problems with our email provider. So one of our largest customers sent out a broadcast to all their users, and of course, like the daily limit with our current provider was maxed out. So again, we're like, this is a problem. And unfortunately, like when I talked to their sales guy a couple months ago, he was like, yeah, if you run into the limit, just upgrade to the larger plan and it will be upgraded as well. So I did that, threw money at the problem, but the setting didn't change. So the limit stayed the same. But we were able to figure it out. It took a little bit longer, reached out to their support, upgraded the plan again. Like we are paying like 3 or 4 times the amount of money we paid last week, but at least the daily limit is now way higher. And you also figured out a fallback solution with another provider. So things hopefully will be good from now on.
Oh, man.
And also, like, I have to admit, we didn't have great monitoring about the sending limits. Because, of course, that email provider has alerts for monthly limit, like when you approach the monthly limit, but not for the daily limit. Because, like, why would they?
Yeah.
So, basically spent last Friday on implementing, like, our custom monitoring solution that pulls metrics from their API, stores it in our monitoring tool, and then set up alerts in our own monitoring tool, so it would alert us once we get close to those daily and monthly limits. And with the higher limit now, the monitoring, the alert, and the fallback in place, I think we're good for now. Like this should do the trick for a while.
And your monthly limit, even with that customer doing that full broadcast, your monthly limit would have been completely fine. It was only your daily limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you got a pretty like a much higher ceiling, or you kind of.
Yeah, like I think if all our customers would send out broadcasts to all their users on the same day, we'd still run into problems. But I guess there's some margin there now, so we should be good. And we are paying a lot more money, and I kind of hate that because, like, on most days we don't need it.
You don't need it, right?
We only send a tiny fraction of the daily limit on regular days, but if someone decides to send out a ton of emails, then sure, we kind of need it. So, I guess that's
Does Userlist have a daily limit for your customers?
Not right now, no.
Like,
and I have a hard time figuring, like, I mean, if you want to send an email to all your customers, you want to send an email to all your customers. Then,
yeah.
And sure, you probably shouldn't send 10 broadcasts to all your customers per day, but like it feels like a very artificial limit in that regard. So, yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I kind of get why they have it, but for our particular use case where we send on behalf of other people, it's kind of stupid.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's totally get it. I'm just wondering, like, thinking through like ways that you're not constantly carrying this huge, margin of waste for like those very few spikes. I wonder what else is there?
I wasn't able to figure out a good solution. I mean, like, there's no way we can predict when people want to send those broadcasts, so it's not that we can just like dynamically switch plans like we want to.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully,
it's the
hope you.
Yeah. We're not going bankrupt by paying a little bit more, but it's still my bootstrapper heart feels a little bad about spending way more money than we need to.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. Hope what you've got in place holds up for a little bit.
Yeah. And in other news, we shipped a new feature last week. We finally have like team management features implemented, so you can invite more users to your Userlist account, like people who have access to your backend. And I also started doing some refactoring on our front end code, especially related to icons. It was such a mess. Like, at some point, it was like, when I started out, I basically copied like SVG files from Sketch and exported them, and then included them in the styling, and didn't care about like what color, what size. I don't care. Just
common widths and
copy them over and be done with it. At some points, we switched to Figma, and it wasn't quite as easy anymore, at least for me. So I imported the SVG files for the icons directly from the icon set and put them in there. And ultimately, I ended up with a big mess of 20 icons, all differently styled and different sizes. And I spent last Friday, like after I figured out the monitoring stuff, I spent the rest of the day just trying to harmonize our icon set so everything looks good next to each other.
Yeah.
And that part is done, and now this week I have to go back in and like fix all the occurrences of icons inside the UI to now also match the new sizes. So doing it feels like a lot of maintenance work, but I think it's time to do this because it's a mess.
Well, and you'll feel it'll be nice and tidy when you're done.
There's so many other things I should improve on there. So this feels like a small droplet. But I mean, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Nice.
What about you?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a. It's weird that it's it's April the 6th. It has felt kind of like on the one hand, it has felt like a lost month, the last 4 weeks, but on the other, like I said at the top of the show, I feel so centered and rested right now, more so than I feel like I felt in years, and so I'm trying to figure out like what's that about and what's going on. But I don't know. I'm stumbling on exactly how to express completely how things are going, because like I put out one bright and early episode, last month that felt like a bummer. No real movement on Headlamp. Understandably, like it was weird. No movement there at all. like full-time, like searching for a full-time job, those like prospects and efforts are definitely slowing down. Although, I mean, I actually have a call with Mozilla like right after we record this. So, fingers crossed, hopefully that'll go well. But this other startup here in town that I was interviewing with and it seemed like really, really strong. I know they had a couple of other candidates, but like, it seemed like in a really, really good place. And they they closed the position. They're like, wait, things have changed. We're not hiring for this anymore. So there were those like areas of discouragement, but I think the other thing that happened was because of all the uncertainty, I've got, I still have one really good project, one really good client. And I just like doubled down, just like went all in on, staying in touch with that client, like giving them everything they could possibly want, responsiveness, etc. And it felt really, really good to just dive headlong for many hours in a week on one app. Like it is so refreshing and fun and enjoyable. And I was even laughing when you're like talking about refactoring your front end and icons and everything, because like that's part of a big thing that I'm getting ready to do for them, and like and that sounds like a ton of fun to me. I really enjoy that part of the front end. And so I'm super grateful to have, number one, I'm really grateful to have that client. It feels really good to be able to focus on something and get into the zone. And what I think what remains to be seen is, how much time per week do I continue to put into finding full-time employment versus, okay, what if like you're feeling a lot more calm, a lot more centered these days, oddly and ironically in a better headspace, I think, than I've felt in years. What if we take a deep breath and, give a couple of months to Headlamp again and see what happens there. While still like keep the full-time search on the, like not exactly on the back burner, but not taking up 50% of my week. Like as opportunities show up, apply for them and, et cetera, et cetera. But that's kind of where my head is at right now, is super grateful for this client. Really enjoying the work and wondering how I balance the rest of my week.
Mm-hmm. So did I get that right? Are you basically putting off work on Headlamp, or do you want to pick up work on Headlamp again?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, I think if we were to go back and listen to like the last episode in February, it was me saying, okay, in March, my full-time job is looking for a full-time job, and whatever position, hopefully I find will be completely remote. And when I settle into that, then I'll be able to kind of do research and continue building up Headlamp on the side. Like that was the plan.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's nothing about that plan that makes sense right now. Or, at least to say like that exact version of that plan. And so what I'm saying right now is, I know for sure that I need to reinvest my time in consulting, because the job market is drying up and it's going to be really, really difficult. And so do I like completely put that to the side and work on Headlamp, or do I then split Headlamp and looking for a full-time job? I'm not like, that's the part where I feel a little bit uncertain on how much of that like fractional time on the side to spend. Because I know for sure what I need to be doing is like working really hard for this client that I've got, given the situation. And what do I do with the other hours?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I guess there's something to be said about being focused on just one thing and not feeling guilty about letting the other slide.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's the part that gives you peace of mind of just having a good excuse to not work on the other stuff.
Yeah. I really think that's got a lot to do with it, Benedikt, is before just feeling so much stress and responsibility for, okay, how do I like maximize my decisions here and make the most optimal choice at every fork in the road, and just feeling so much stress and pressure. And a lot of that right now, it feels like, like the responsibility for those decisions has been completely taken away from me by this huge event.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of that is like strangely calming. So
yeah, I feel that
anyway,
too.
yeah. Tomorrow I'm just taking off for a little self-care and alone time. Gonna go do some social distancing in the mountains. We're doing great here at home. Like, we're a family of 5. The 3 kids are in 2nd, 4th, and 6th grade, and so there's a fair amount of activity here, and it's definitely different. But I mean, everybody's doing pretty good. But at the same time, we've all been together for a really long time now. So I'm going to go get a little bit of just out in the middle of nowhere time for myself tomorrow. So we'll have a
looking forward to what you report back about like your alone time outside in nature, because like around here there's no such thing anymore. It feels more like everyone's supposed to stay at home, but like because people are not going to work and not going elsewhere, they have and I can even feel it myself. Like, I have an urge to get out a couple times a week and just go for a walk. Luckily, that's not prohibited yet.
Right.
But like I walk alone in the woods around here. No, that doesn't happen anymore. There are a lot of people out there.
Yeah, the trailheads here, the parking lots are full, quite full.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm hoping I'll get an early start in the morning and get a couple hours into the mountains. And see what I can not find. The other really kind of silly news here at the house is we're getting a dog. We've never had we have been thinking about it for quite a while. Laura and I, like, not telling the kids. We've always told them, like, no, we're not a dog family. We travel a lot. It's can be an inconvenience, etc. But we finally just decided, okay, yeah, the kids really want a dog. Kids need a dog, and we're going to be home for a while, so like we can train let's train a puppy in the middle of all this. Why not? So we'll
That's a
see.
good one.
We'll see how that goes.
Reminds me of my friend Michael, who lives in Spain and is also thinking about getting a dog, because like if you have a dog, you're allowed to get outside.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
but that sounds like it's not a good reason to get a dog.
I mean, the companionship, and if it does, get you outside, I'm sure a bond will form. Oh man, that's funny. I mean, it's really good.
I think he's joking about that, but like, yeah, I can see where that thought comes from.
Yeah.
Are you like? Will this be your first dog, or are you a dog person? Did you have a dog as a child?
Yeah, I had a dog as a child, and my grandparents had these 2 big dogs that I loved. But Laura never had a dog. She had cats growing up, so this will be her first. This will be her first dog. So it'll be an adventure for the Ray family.
Nice.
I can't wait. I really can't. I may end up eating my words, but I cannot wait.
Do you already have like set sights on one, or?
Yeah. There's there's like a breeder that we did all this research on, and we were actually able to go and visit the litter. We don't know which dog is ours, but because they're pets and living things, they were deemed essential services by the county sheriff or whatever. And so we were able to, under a very controlled routine, go and visit the litter last week, only for like 20 minutes, I think, but none of us were ready to leave. So one of them will be the dog. But we had to very actively don't get attached to any puppy that you hold, because we don't know which one is ours.
Do the kids know already, or will it be a surprise?
Yeah, they know. We gave them we surprised them with Laura rang the doorbell and had printed out, like a picture of like a litter of puppies, and was like, one of these is ours on April 24th. So like she rang the doorbell and the kids opened it and found that little sign and completely lost their minds. Yeah, it was cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. So, well, anyway, yeah, that's me. Things are good over here. Again, all things considered, like making the most of the time that we're given, that we find ourselves in. And so, yeah, that's my update.
Yeah, cool. I don't have anything else to report from my side personally, but we joined this project by Jane. And usually we don't have like sponsors on this show, as you know, but we're giving away like 5 slots of sponsorship slots for free. So we will treat you as a sponsor and just give a shout out to your SaaS product or whatever it is. The initiative that Jane started is called Help Founders. It's at helpfounders.com. And you can apply as either a podcaster or as a software product. And the details aren't quite figured out yet, but they will be like companies that apply will be shared across a couple of podcasts. I think it's 12 podcasts, some very well-known podcasts among them. And you basically get a free shout out as if you were a sponsor.
Yeah, this is a really cool thing that Jane put together to help founders who are finding themselves in a tough situation right now, and something that at least a group of us can do to try to come together and give some folks who are struggling a little bit of promotion and try and keep people afloat.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super excited about it. I'm looking forward to see and discover new companies that I didn't know of before, or just support friends with their products. Yeah. I'm really excited about it and curious to see what comes of it. Justin Jackson has also been talking a whole lot about this problem right now, less to do with online founders and more to do with small businesses, and what can we do to be sure that on the other side of this recession that it's not only Amazon and chain restaurants that make it through. The vast majority of the businesses that are not going to get to the other side are family-owned small businesses, and that is not good for absolutely.
Economy. So I'm super cool that Jane put this together. I'm happy to be a part of it. So
yeah, absolutely. Looking forward.
Okay.
Looking forward when we start this. Maybe even next week.
Yep.
Let's see.
And so people go
Please apply.
People go to helpfounders.com to apply. Right?
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, it's good to catch up with you, Benedikt. Good to see you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Talk next week.
See you.